Good evening, good evening. Is my mic working, Cameron? Can you hear me? Okay, good evening. We're going to go ahead and get started, everybody. It is 6:30, and we are in for quite the evening. I know, I have it. I don't want to use it. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with our invocation, with our Pledge of Allegiance. I call this meeting to order and announce that quorum is present. Excellent. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I would like the Autry children, but really any children in the audience, you guys can start us with our Pledge of Allegiance. So would everybody stand, please? Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I have the distinct honor of getting to start this meeting down here at the podium because we are starting off with proclamations. So I'm going to scooch on down, and I'll be over here. Our first proclamation we have for this evening is recognizing our City Secretary, Courtney Rutherford. She did not know that this was happening. And I almost spilled the beans like 10 minutes ago. So, this is Courtney's very last meeting with us, and she is actually moonlighting for us because she is officially the city secretary over in Jersey Village, and we are all very sad. It's such a bittersweet. It is such a bittersweet time for us here at Meadows. We're in the process of hiring a new city secretary, but Courtney has loved us in this place so well for so long. It is our distinct honor to have a proclamation officially in the record for Courtney. But the problem is, Courtney is the person that does our proclamation. So we don't have like the pretty cardstock that usually happens. We have some printed paper and a gold star because I'm a teacher and I know about gold stars. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we've got some refreshments for you and your family. After we do this. All right. We are this is a proclamation recognizing City Secretary Courtney Rutherford, whereas Courtney Rutherford has dedicated her career to the city of Meadows Place, serving as city secretary from January 2016 to present, and during her time as tenure has exemplified commitment, professionalism, and care for the city and its residents. Whereas Courtney has worn many hats, excelling not only as city secretary, but also as human resource administrator, court administrator, and overseer of utility clerk and permit department, taking on a wide array of responsibilities with steadfast diligence. Whereas she has coordinated seamless communication with City Council, prepared and maintained accurate agendas and minutes for all City Council boards and commission meetings, and safeguarded the city's resolutions, ordinances, and agreements. This is a huge job, you guys. Whereas Courtney has been instrumental and maintaining city records, organizing annual document shredding, and facilitating city elections, ensuring integrity and transparency in every process. Whereas she has worked tirelessly to fulfill public information requests, manage confidential correspondence with the Office of Attorney General, oversee municipal court and permit operations, and coordinate zoning and specific use permit applications, among many other critical tasks. Whereas Courtney played a key role in bringing payroll operations in-house, managing employee benefits, handling insurance claims, and ensuring the well-being of city staff while supporting the overall mission of the city. And whereas her dedication, expertise, and tireless ethic have left an indelible mark on the city of Meadows Place and the hearts of those she has worked alongside. Whereas we are saddened to see her leave, we are thrilled to celebrate this new chapter in her career, confident that she will bring the same passion and excellence in her new role. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Audrey St. Germain, on behalf of City Council and the residents of Meadows Place, do hereby recognize and extend our heartfelt gratitude to Courtney Rutherford for her extraordinary service and unwavering dedication to the city of Meadows Place. We wish her all the best in her future endeavors, knowing that she will always be part of the Meadows family. So here you go. And you guys can go and enjoy a little bit of fellowship together. Honestly, we should start all of our meetings with these like warm fuzzies. Okay, so we are going to recognize Teachers of the Year. We have, there's been a lot of thought put into this. Our 2024-25 Teacher of the Year is Kristen Mahand. And we're going to wait for you. So, but as we were putting together this proclamation for her, I had the lovely honor of receiving this proclamation last year. It was a great idea, and we thought, oh my goodness, there have been so many wonderful teachers that came before me, and there are so many wonderful teachers coming after me. So it is my sincere hope that we continue to do this as a city, recognize the talent that is at our Meadows Elementary School and serving our children every single day. That school really is the heart of our city, and so I would really love to recognize the educators that spend their time and talent there. As I was putting together the proclamation for Kristen, it dawned on me that since COVID, the 2021, the 2022, the 2023, the 2024, and the 2025 Teachers of the Year at Meadows Elementary are all residents of the city of Meadows Place, are all choosing to raise their families here in the city of Meadows Place, and have had their kids currently at the school or gone through the school, and are all choosing to spend their time and talents at Meadows Elementary. And I think that there's something just incredibly special about that. So we're going to back it up, and we're going to go from 2021, and we're going to recognize every Teacher of the Year from 2021, and then we're going to continue that moving forward. Okay? So we're going to go on a little journey through time. So we're going to start with Shelley Leifrig. So Shelley's going to come on up. All right, so we're going to have a Shelley Leifrig Day, just like they did for me last year. We're going to have a Shelley Leifrig Day. Shelley Leifrig, this is a proclamation for the record. Shelley teaches next door to me. I don't know how many people know that, but pretty incredible. Whereas Shelley Leifrig has been teaching at Meadows Elementary for 8 years and has 18 years of teaching experience, whereas Miss Leifrig is respected by both her peers and the Meadows Place community and was recognized as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for the 2020-2021 school year, whereas she has spent countless hours in and out of the classroom preparing lessons, teaching, and empowering her students while raising her own 2 children. Whereas she is helping mold future generations through guidance and education. Whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community. Whereas the purpose of Teacher of the Year is to honor educators that have made a difference in the lives of their students and provided inspiration to their peers. Now, therefore, I, Audrey St. Germain, Mayor of Meadows Place, on behalf of the City of Meadows Place Council, and do hereby acknowledge Shelley Liefrig as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for the 2020-2021 school year, and do hereby proclaim February 19th, 2025 as Shelley Liefrig Day, and encourage all members of our community to congratulate Ms. Liefrig on her accomplishments and dedication to the devotion of our community. So proclaimed on this 28th day of January 2025. All right, Kristen Bedford, come on up. This is a proclamation for Kristen Bedford Day. Whereas Kristen Bedford has been teaching at Meadows Elementary for 10 years and has 12 years of teaching experience. Whereas Ms. Bedford is respected by both her peers and the Meadows Place community and was recognized as Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for the 2021-2022 school year. Whereas she has spent countless hours in and out of the classroom preparing lessons, teaching and empowering her students while raising her 5 children. Whereas she is helping to mold future generations through guidance and education. Whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community. Whereas the purpose of Teacher of the Year is to honor the educators that have made a difference in the lives of their students and provided inspiration to their peers. Now, therefore, I, Audrey St. Germain, Mayor of Meadows Place, on behalf of the City of Meadows Place City Council, do hereby acknowledge Kristen Bedford as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year from 21-22, and do hereby proclaim February 12th as the Kristen Bedford Day, and encourage all members of our community to congratulate Kristen Bedford on her accomplishments and dedication and devotion to our community. So proclaimed this 28th day of January 2025. All right, Julie Ibarra. This is a proclamation for the record for Julie Ibarra Day, whereas Julie Ibarra has been teaching at Meadows Elementary for 10 years and has 13 years of teaching experience, whereas Julie Ibarra is respected by both her peers and the Meadows Place community and was recognized as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for the 2022-2023 school year, whereas she has spent countless hours in and out of the classroom preparing lessons, teaching, and empowering her students while raising her own 6 children, whereas she is helping to mold future generations through guidance and education, whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community, whereas the purpose of the Teacher of the Year is to honor educators that have made a difference in the lives of their students and provided inspiration to their peers. Now, therefore, I, Audrey St. Germain, Mayor of Meadows Place, on behalf of the City of Meadows Place City Council, do hereby acknowledge Julie Ibarra as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year from 22-23, and do hereby proclaim February 5th as Julie Ibarra Day, and encourage all members of our community to congratulate Ms. Ibarra on her accomplishments and dedication and devotion to our community, so proclaimed this 28th day of January 2025. All right, and that brings us to Kristen Mahan. Come on up. We are proclaiming for the record Kristen Mahan Day, Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year 2024-2025. Whereas Kristen Mahan has been teaching at Meadows Elementary for 3 years and has 17 years of teaching experience, whereas Ms. Mahan is respected by both her peers and the Meadows Place community and was recognized as Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year for 2024-2025. Whereas she has spent countless hours in and out of the classroom preparing lessons, teaching, and empowering her students while raising her own 2 boys, whereas she is helping to mold future generations through guidance and education, whereas our community recognizes and supports teachers in educating the children of this community, whereas the purpose of Teacher of the Year is to honor educators that have made a difference in the lives of their students and provided inspiration to their peers. Now, therefore, I, Audrey St. Germain, Mayor of Meadows Place, on behalf of the City of Meadows Place City Council, do hereby acknowledge Kristen Mahan as the Meadows Elementary Teacher of the Year 2024-2025, and do hereby proclaim January 29th, that's tomorrow, as Kristen Mahan Day and encourage all members of our community to congratulate Ms. Mahan on her accomplishments and dedication and devotion to our community. So proclaimed this 28th day of January, 2025. Okay, and our last proclamation that we're not a proclamation, our last warm fuzzy, I guess is what we're calling them tonight. Colleen is going to come up. We have an Eagle Scout project that has been completed that Colleen is going to talk to us more about.
All right, Sean, would you like to join me up here? Awesome. So this is Sean Carawan. Is that how you pronounce it? Carawan. And he did an Eagle Scout project for our community. This is something that Boy Scouts grow up and desire to finish out their term by getting an Eagle Scout project approved and constructed. And it's usually something that's a give back for the community. And Sean came to me, and it's not just a quick thing. He met with me several times, laying out the plan and the design of what he wanted to get done. There was a lot of thought process in it, where he wanted to put the bench and why. He was very particular as to the locations. And come to find out, his brother, also an Eagle Scout, 2 years prior, he built the bench on the top of the hill in the park. And Sean now has made the bench, as you can see in the picture here, that resides at the floating pier at the Lake Jessup. And so that will be there for the community to enjoy. But it's such a special thing for our community that anytime an Eagle Scout comes and wants to add and contribute to benefit the community and the parks themselves. So, Sean, we're very proud of you, and we thank you so much for what you did. And if you'd like to introduce your parents, because they've been a big part of this as well. His mom and dad right there. So if y'all will go ahead and raise your hands there. Thank you. And parents, I know it's been a journey for you as well. I know that, Dad, you were there on site helping to supervise and manage the project. And Mom, you were cheering him right along and helping all these years as well to get him to where he is. So we thank you for raising such a fine young man. We really appreciate what he does for our community, and it's great to watch you grow. Thank you, Sean.
We're about to move on to our next agenda item. So this, if there's a shakeup, this is a good time to do that. So we're moving on to the next item. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Okay, we are moving on to our next agenda item, which is our joint public hearing. I would just like to remind everybody for this joint public hearing, this is a public hearing. We are here, our Planning and Zoning Commission and our council are here to hear what your thoughts are about what's coming up. We are not deliberating. We are not discussing. Council can ask questions, but it's supposed to be quick. Discussion can happen when we get to that agenda item after P&Z comes back in. Okay, so this is a public hearing. This is not meant to be a deliberation. That happens in agenda item number 9. Okay. Joint public hearing, we're going to conduct a joint public hearing regarding a specific use application from Corey Corbin or collision motor specialist per Meadows Place Code of Ordinances, Chapter 153, Section 15395, B2C4, allowing for auto body shop on the property located at 12002 Southwest Freeway, Meadows Place, Texas, 77477. The public hearing is now open, so anybody who would like to share their thoughts on collision motor specialists is welcome at the podium. Do you want to start? Yes, that would be great. Would you like to come up and start, do a presentation first? Yes, thank you, Rick.
Good evening, City Council, council members. It's a great day to be alive. I'm glad to be here. Good to see everybody again. My name is Jimmy Ramirez, and I own Collision Motor Specialists. We are one of 6 Tesla certified shops in the greater Houston area, and we are one of 4 independent BMW shops in the greater Houston area. I've been doing this all my life. I am proposing to take over literally 10% of a building that was used as the biggest body shop in Texas. I don't know if any of y'all knew that. There's 370,000 square feet of this facility that's next to us, and I plan on bringing jobs and BMW. Hopefully, with us securing this spot, we will have Porsche on there, high-end vehicles, high-end repairs, quality and integrity. We fix safe vehicles. Some of the issues and concerns that I was presented with last time I was here were that citizens said that the paint fumes they could smell. People were doing burnouts. Cars were getting dropped off at the middle of the night, making people not be able to sleep. We are an automotive repair facility that opens up at 8 a.m. and closes by 6. Decent hours. We don't sell vehicles out here. I don't run a junkyard. I have all my proposals in here. Last time we were denied because we did not have the parking structure presented. Tonight we do have that, and I also have Ms. Corey who has the Texas air quality portions to prove to everybody what kind of quality, what kind of standards are regulated in my industry and how we will abide by those. I'm trying to think what else to put. I honestly didn't write a speech. This is coming from the heart. I want to be in your community. I'm a native Houstonian. I want to bring back quality and put something in a building that's been unoccupied for almost a year now. I can show everybody that. I will show City Council our plans of where we're going to put the parking lot. I think it was sent to you guys as well. Hopefully that was sufficient.
It should be in our backup packets. Okay. Yeah, we've got it.
Okay, awesome. Other than that, guys, I want to be in your community. And for me, it's do or die. I'm ready to sell my building and risk my family just to be over here. I don't know if you guys can take in the weight of that, but that's how much I believe in this. And I mean, I'm there, and I'm happy to be here. And I'll be happy to be a part of your community and grow it with you guys. So that's what I have to say about it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will answer all of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Do you want to come up and talk about the air quality? Okay.
My name is Corey Corbin, and I'll be handling the permitting, so I'll need to know who Courtney's replacement is. Congratulations for her. I know she's not in here. So I also will be handling the TCEQ evaluation. If or when we get approved to move forward, we will be obtaining an acknowledgement that Collision Motor Specialist has registered emissions associated with the equipment in the shop under the standard permit by rule. But after I evaluate it, because I do several of these permits, we will be registering under the de minimis rule. That means Collision Motor Specialist will not be admitting enough substances in the environment to need a permit by rule. So it means it's low. Where we're just registering de minimis, like low. So also TCEQ requires the stack height for the emissions to be 1.2 times the height of the roof. So we will be complying with that. And 30 feet from the property line, which we're way far away from the property line. And Collision Motor Specialist will also demonstrate compliance of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality by maintaining records of its emissions. And that's about all that's required from TCEQ. So,
Thank you so much. Do we have any residents who would like to come speak to council about this Collision Motor Specialist? Good evening.
Hi, my name is Silvia Romano, 11923 Bloomington Lane. Dear Mayor and city members of City Council, glad to know that we have the TCEQ requirements. I would love to see it later.
You can move that mic around. You can move it. You don't have to. You can pull it down or move it. However,
okay.
Whatever is most comfortable.
Okay.
There you go.
We ask that the city deny the CMS application. This is nothing personal, but this facility will impact the city of Meadows Place image, property values, environmental quality, and security for its residents. Now, I have prepared asking for if the Texas Commission of Environment Quality is ready. I'm glad to know that that part is there, and I'm looking forward to review it with you guys. Considering the security factor, how will this business secure the premises to protect the residents and ensure that our police department will not have the extra duty of protecting their cars? Do we want to have a parking lot without supervision? How can the city ensure that CMS will not look like the one already in A-Leaf? I sent several pictures to the city council members and to the mayor, and I'm sure we all agree that this is not what we want to see entering the city of Meadows Place, our square mile of happiness. Is that what we want the new neighbors come when they want to buy a new house? I don't think so. Do we want to maintain our property values and safety, or do we want to become a second A-Leaf? I don't. I hope that any of you were able to go and see the A-Leaf CMS by yourself. But just in case you were not able to do it, please be sure to look at the pictures I sent, and also be mindful that this location is not close to any residential area. There are not homes next to this property at all. The location in Pearland, based on the Google Maps, was an empty building in a commercial area. Approving a collision center in our backyard will decrease property values and affect the security of nearby homes. Applications should be considered to better our community, not only in the short term, but in the long term too, towards making Meadows Place a thriving community. I just want to remind you what happened with the Auto Direct that was promising this university look-alike, the beautiful doggy park, and there were not going to be cars inside and outside the facility. And now if you see the pictures inside and outside, of course it's a property that is going to be hard to sell. But it was Meadows Place that let this property beyond our rent by this auto direct and let Broom without asking requirements to see how it was okay. We love our town, which has a park, a great school, a discovery center, tennis courts, a pool, and all the beautiful spaces in the other side of Kirkwood. Our taxes were used to pay all these beautiful places. And I love the Discovery Center. I'm all for it. We pay the same taxes as our neighbors in the other side, and yet, year after year, we do not see the same invested. There was a possibility of buying the doggy park and do something beautiful, like an open park or something. They said no money or something happened. That's not fair. I do believe that we deserve the same quality and the same, especially if you're planning to put a auto pollution. We need a lot of trees. We need a park. But I hope that we think about it twice. This is not only unfair, but it's also make no economic sense. Dorrance is one of the main entrances to the city. And this is not the image of Meadows Place we want to project. Again, with all the respect, I know that the owner of CMS want to do the best. And I can guarantee the CMS that is in Aliff is a perfect place. It's business, there are retails, there are all auto shops. But that's Aliff. We are Meadows Place. We live back that property. Please think in our health, think in the transit, think in the safety. When they start coming to steal those cars, they're coming and say, well, since we're here, we can keep going to Dorrance, we can keep going to Bloomington. I don't think that is fair. I think we have to think in the long term. And I hope that you think about it too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Are there any other residents that would like to come speak on this agenda item?
All right, good evening. I'd like to thank the council again for allowing us to voice our concerns about the potential client that is going to impact our homes, our lives, our health, our property values, and our community.
Can we get your name for the record?
My name is Benita Garcia.
Excellent. And you can adjust this so that it's comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. Meadows Place is our home for life. I'm here in opposition as a concerned neighbor to address the proposed electric vehicle and high-end vehicle body shop repair. Placing this type of facility in a building that stands within 50 feet of family homes right in the middle of a business center not only is inappropriate, but I believe is short-sighted. Let's consider what it does to the business center itself. By placing a repair shop and a rec yard in the heart of a business center, you're fundamentally changing the character of the area. You're essentially saying to future businesses, welcome to our city, but don't mind the noise, the smell, the tow truck traffic, and look past the gated-off rec yard and industrial activity next door. It's hard to imagine other businesses eager to set up shop next to this. Instead of fostering a vibrant, attractive business environment, you're making the area undesirable for future development. Noise pollution remains a major issue. EV and high-end body repair facilities rely on heavy-duty tools, industrial machines, and other equipment that create constant noise. This will not only disrupt families nearby, including children, seniors, and those working from home, but will also make the area unpleasant for future development, customers and client visiting neighboring businesses. If the city wants to drive away future development and customers, this is a great way to do it. Environmental concerns also cannot be overlooked. A facility like this handles hazardous materials such as paints, solvents, and battery chemicals, which pose a risk of wastewater contamination and air quality degradation. This not only jeopardizes the health of the families, but also creates a poor environment for businesses hoping to attract customers who value clean, inviting spaces. Are we really expecting people to walk past a rec yard to enjoy a meal or shop in the area? No, let's not forget fire hazards. EV batteries are known for their potential to overheat and combust. These fires are notoriously difficult to extinguish, and placing a facility like this so close to homes and other businesses put everyone in the area at risk, including our firefighters. And I brought with me today a copy of a lithium batteries fire and emission characterization report provided to me by the City of Houston's assistant fire chief. And he explained that the risks are not only to the surrounding homes and businesses, but also to the firefighters and the long-term effects that it can have on them. A facility of this nature requires a more appropriate site, one that operates out of a self-contained building and can effectively manage fire risks, hazardous materials, and environmental safety concerns. And beyond safety concerns, this decision will negatively impact property values, not just for nearby homes, but for businesses as well. Commercial properties thrive on accessibility, attractiveness, and complementary neighbors. A rec yard in the middle of a business center sends the message that the city isn't invested in fostering a welcoming environment. Instead, it turns it into an area of patchwork of conflicting uses that drive businesses and customers away. While the facility may generate some tax revenue, let's be honest, the benefits are overstated. Labor, which is the core service provided by this business, isn't taxed. The minimal revenue from parts and materials hardly offset the broader damage to property values, quality of life, and the business center's long-term viability. The city should encourage complementary businesses that attract foot traffic and growth, not industrial operations that repel them. By putting this facility in the middle of a business center, you're making the entire area unattractive and undesirable for others to come in and invest. If you truly want to see our city thrive, I urge that you prioritize smart planning and provide a better location for this business. Let's keep Meadows Place your home for life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Are there any other residents that would like to get up and talk?
Terry Henley, 12203 Austin Drive. Is it Mr. Corbin? Is that your name? The owner? I'm sorry, okay. Yeah, the question I had, I think y'all mentioned last time that the paint used today is more of a water base and has little or no odor. Is that correct? So it's not like the old body shops, and it's high-end type vehicles. Didn't include Tesla as well? Tesla and BMW and all, okay. So we're going to have, it'll be high-end clients that come in here. We're better off having something there rather than nothing at all. If nothing at all sits there for years, then it's going to affect the value. And it's good to have traffic there. My next question has to do with planning and zoning. You got the new plans. The only thing last time was parking for the damaged vehicles until they're repaired. I think that's correct. And did y'all get plans? Is that something you got to review? Planning. I'm directing this to planning and zoning. That's something you got to review and then bring the recommendation back to council? Okay. So, and since you're selling your old business and moving here, I'm assuming it's a long-term lease. And probably with the option for additional space if you need it. If you're that good, you may expand. Okay? And Sammy's still the guy you deal with, right? Isn't he the owner? Yeah. Yeah, he's the one I bought all my furniture for at my lake house, so he's a pretty good guy if you get to work with him. So anyway, that's all I have. Thanks. I'm in favor of it, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Terry. Would anybody else like to come and speak for the public hearing? I think, yeah? Yes?
Need to restate my name?
No.
Okay. So, a couple of things that I heard and I wanted to set clear for the record. If people did not hear me before, this building is 370,000 square feet. I am taking 33,000 square feet in the middle of it. I am hundreds of feet away from any nearest house. Property lines are very far away. So I'm not sure where this idea of I am right next to some house. I am closer in my current building to homes right now, way closer than where I'm at, where I'm going to be. And I have never, in 14 years, had a complaint. Never once have I had the police come in. The reason I am moving away from Alief is because Alief, to me, has gone down. I have homeless people around. Nobody wants to bring their high-end car with homeless people around. And I don't know if you guys understand. You have homeless people here too.
Thank you.
I have personally kicked out homeless people in this facility. There was one time I went in here and I didn't even have, I have a CHL, but I'm not one to carry all around. I don't believe in that. All right. But there was one time I found a man and I had somebody with me, a friend of mine who was a woman, and she was terrified to death because this homeless man was in this property stealing. Guys, this property has been sitting vacant for far too long. All the electrical has been getting stolen out of here. I don't know if you were aware of this. So when we talk about crime and everything, not having somebody in there is a crime. Not having people in there is a crime because you're having the criminals come in anyways. There's no way the police can police everything. As a community, we come together and we fight that. It takes a community to call in. Am I right or wrong? And I want to be part of your community, and I understand your concerns, but I am not a salvage yard. I am not stripping cars apart to sell them. And as we talk about EV cars, let's face the facts. You have Ford and Nissan right here in City of Meadows. They both have body shops. They both do not do the quality of work that I do, and I'll stand on that. And they're one of my sponsors, Group 1, the Nissan store. I love them to death, but there is a very big difference between running a Nissan body shop and running a BMW and Tesla body shop. We have different standards. Anybody could be a Ford shop. I could be a Ford shop tomorrow with no issues. The man I brought here sells the equipment to all the shops around, and I promise you he could contest to the difference in the quality of work that we do. It's not the same. We don't play on the same level. So the idea of having a shop here that is a salvage shop or anything, I can tell you right now, I was the first person to sign a lease with Mr. Sam, and there were several companies jumping right after to lease the other spots, including a pickleball, evidently. I would have already been in this building over a year ago. My personal friend owns the half end, his family does. But they want to do something else. And, they wanted me to take a spot that I couldn't take. Otherwise, I would have probably been up here well over a year ago speaking to everybody. I've been trying to get in here for over 2 years. And, this is my last hurrah. Yes, I am opening one up in Pearland next to a Starbucks. There are houses behind us over there. That city council, it came down to the point where I had to tell them, look, and I looked at the mayor, I looked at city council, and I said, listen, either you want me in here or you want this building vacant because it is hard as heck to rent out. It is the same thing in here. Y'all have paint booths in here. I'm doing a lot of work to be in here. And I understand your opposition on this, and I respect that. But I am not 50 feet away from your houses. I am much further, way further. And we don't have the same sounds that auto mechanic shops have that are right next door. So I don't see how it would be unfair to me when you guys have all these other dealerships right here. I get it. It's not what you want, and I respect that. I'm just trying to be in here. I'm trying to help your city grow, trying to bring tax revenue. We actually have young students come in and they work with us, high school students. I send people off to Mercedes training, BMW training, Tesla training. It's not the same, guys. It really isn't, and I appreciate it. And I hope I answered all your questions. And like you said, A-Leaf was bad. I get it. I don't want to put any more money into A-Leaf. Otherwise, I'll make a Taj Mahal out of it. But when I have homeless people right across the street from me, it's kind of hard to do that. There's a reason I'm trying to get closer to home. Houston is my home. So,
Thank you so much, Mr. Ramirez. I really appreciate that. Is there anybody else who would like to speak for the public hearing?
Yes, can I speak?
Yes.
Kelly Mills, 12123 Scottsdale Drive. I'm speaking as a resident, not city council. People don't understand what he is saying is the building may be 50 feet, whatever y'all are saying, from the houses. His part he's taking is way, if I'm reading this thing correctly, in the middle of it. He's asking for 10% or less of the actual square footage. So his company will not be within spitting distance of the houses. Number two, a lot of times when people think of paint and body shops, they think of the old Earl Schreibs. Remember those? It looked like your kid got a paintbrush and painted it for $2.99. That will not be here. Okay? We have Helfman Ford and Nissan both here. You wouldn't know they had a paint and body shop and all. You don't see junked up vehicles parked on the street. I've used the Nissan dealership before to fix my Dodge Caravan, believe it or not, and all. And I, as a resident, am for it because I'm the type, if I personally own that business, that building there, and y'all kept denying businesses coming in to get, help me with my building, I would find out, okay, what do I need to do that doesn't need a permit, i.e. retail? You would see the ugliest Goodwill, for lack of a better word, collection site that building will be turned into, where you could just drive up and drop your stuff off and leave it. And I would take my time clearing it out, and, two can play at this game. And I'm looking on the revenue side. It will bring stuff in. He said he would teach our youth. Discount Tire does that. They hire a lot of our youth to work in their business. It helps our youth. Not all of our kids go to college. They go to trade schools and all. My husband supported our family forever being a blue-collar worker. He was a machinist from high school on. He started in shop in high school, and they walked him in the door at Texas Iron Works. There's nothing wrong with trade school, learning how to do that. Good friends of ours own Luis Auto Colors, Lufba, that did paint for all these high-end stores. And also, I think y'all need to rethink y'all are more or less beating a dead horse. It's this close to our houses. The building is as close to your house. His part is not. So that's about all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. I am closing. Wait, do you have one more? Okay.
Yeah, real quick word. Kurt Kupczynski, 11930 Meadow Trail Lane. On the distance, this was a big concern of mine. I'm just stating, I looked up the distances. The current body shop there in A-Leaf is 220 feet away from the residence. Sterling McCall, their body shop, which is right over here, is 400 feet away from a residence. Helfman Ford is 600 feet away. Their body shop is 600 feet away. This body shop would be 600 feet away as well. So it would be the same distance as the Helfman one and further away from Sterling McCall. Just if that helps put it into perspective. Correct, the building itself, but the actual, where the collision, correct.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm officially closing this joint public hearing, and we're going to move on to the next part of our agenda. I'm dismissing P&Z into the conference room. Nick will be joining them along with Jackie. Thank you so much to everybody who came out and spoke. I appreciate it. Okay, we are going to move on to the next portion of our agenda, which is the reports. We're going to start with police. Chief is not going to do our report tonight, but we've got Lieutenant Adames here this evening. Good evening. Yes, yep, that's what I do. And pull that mic all the way down.
Yes, just a little vertically challenged here. Okay, so good evening. I'll start with our report, our police activity report. Better? Okay. So I'll start with our police activity report for the month of January, December into January. The number of accidents was 22. The number of arrests was 11. The number of calls for service were 3,161. The number of reports were 62. Citations issued for traffic were 313. Traffic charges were 804. City ordinance violation citations were 1. Warning issued for traffic were 175. Charges were 315. Warnings issued for code enforcement violations were 9. Total activity count was 4,873. And on to our activity. For assaults, it was 2. Burglary of motor vehicles was 3. Burglary of businesses, 4. Burglary of residences, 0. City ordinance, 10. Criminal mischief, 6. Fraud, forgery, 0. Robbery, 1. Total property checks, business checks, close patrols, and house watches, schools, and other checks, 3,791. Thefts, 4. Unauthorized use of motor vehicles were 0. Program for TLC pass, 24. TLC fails were 7, and total of 31. And the breakdown of all of our activity was code enforcement violation warnings were 5 for solicitors, 1 for loud noise, 1 for loose dog, 2 for junked vehicles. COV citations issued were 0 for the solicitors, 1 for junked vehicle. The accident reports, there were 22, however, only 9 were actual reportable accidents, meaning the others were fender benders that occurred like in parking lots and they exchanged information. So the actual reportable accidents were 9. So property damage in the roundabouts was 1. And if you will, let's see, onto the chief's notes, we've got all of the information there, and if you'll go with me to page 7, we can discuss the flock safety information. So flock safety alerts, total were 52. Stolen vehicle alerts were 1. Sex offender alerts, 4. Stolen plate alerts, 7. Gang suspected terrorist alerts, 2. Missing person alerts, 4. Warrant alerts, 3. Protection order alerts, 29. And 20 hits were 3 repeated vehicles. Other agency hot lists were 2. And violent persons were 0. Cases that were where the flock system was utilized were none this month. And our arrests total were 11, up 7 from last month. We arrested 0 juveniles, and we arrested 11 adults. The arrests were for possession of marijuana and unlawful carrying of a weapon. 3 were arrested for warrants. 1 was arrested for criminal trespass. 1 was arrested for criminal trespass, failed to ID, fugitive from justice, and unlawful carrying of a weapon. 1 was arrested for possession of a controlled substance. 1 was arrested for public intoxication, and 3 were arrested for DWI. One of the first ones that was listed here, possession of marijuana and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Officer Duran stopped a vehicle for a red light violation. An odor of marijuana was detected, and probable cause search was conducted on the vehicle. During that search is when he found a pistol along with marijuana in the vehicle, but he located a pistol. The driver was arrested and transported to Fort Bend County Jail. On to page 8. We've got another warrant. Officer Melanson stopped a vehicle for a stop sign violation. The driver was found to have a confirmed warrant for assault family violence out of Harris County. He too was also taken to Fort Bend County Jail. And there's another DWI. Units responded to a vehicle blocking traffic. The vehicle was found driving away, pulled into a parking lot. The driver was stopped and interviewed and found with signs of intoxication. Officer Sigala, which is our new officer, administered field sobriety tests and detained the driver for DWI. It was a zero refusal weekend. Therefore, the driver was taken to jail, Fort Bend County Jail, for DWI. Officer Sigala, once again, another DWI, conducted a DWI investigation on the subject. She conducted field sobriety tests and detained the subject and was transported to Sugarland PD for intoxilizer. After the results of .145 and .141, the subject was transported to Fort Bend County Jail, where he was booked for DWI. The next arrest, Officer Ibarra, who's here with us this evening, and Officer Sigala investigated a suspicious vehicle and persons. The vehicle also met the description on a BOLO, on a be on the lookout regarding a criminal mischief at Starbucks. Investigation found that the driver had a confirmed warrant for dangerous drugs, parole violation. This was after he gave a false name and was finally identified by photo. An inventory of the vehicle yielded a pistol. The driver was arrested and transported to the Fort Bend County Jail. The other 2 subjects were released. So that was a pretty good stop, pretty good arrest on there for these guys. Officer Duran stopped a vehicle for a registration violation. The odor of marijuana, he detected an odor of marijuana and conducted a probable cause search. A glass pipe with cocaine residue was found, and the driver was transported to Fort Bend County Jail. The driver in this case is a person of interest in the criminal mischief that occurred at Meadows Nails. So that was another good arrest to catch. And then we'll go down to public intoxication. Officer Duran responded to a suspicious person in the parking lot. A male was found who had been in an earlier disturbance at Pizza Hut. The subject was found to show indications of intoxication. A family member arrived to take him home, but he refused to get in their car. So he was arrested and taken to Fort Bend County Jail for public intoxication. And another warrant arrest that was a good arrest. Officer Richmond contacted a suspicious person and through investigation found that he had a confirmed warrant for larceny out of Fort Bend County. He was detained and then turned over to Fort Bend County for that. And then down to notable information, the UUMV on the 11700 block of Kinsey Court, back from November of 2023, the suspect was identified through DNA, then picked out of a photo lineup. So the case has been submitted to the district attorney's office for charges. The next case that is listed under the notable information as a follow-up from November of 2023 was deadly conduct in the 11400 block of Scottsdale. Moving disturbance in Sugarland moved here into the meadows where suspects shot at victim and hit 3 houses. No injuries occurred. The four cases were suspended, but they received a hit on the shell casings, and it was a weapon that was used in a truck that was being shot up that had been shot up in East Houston. So they, almost 2 years later, they got good leads on it. And then in April of 24 last year, injury to elderly, family disturbance. The husband was arrested. We received notice from Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office that the case was rejected, and it was due to insufficient evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt that there was assault that occurred. And then possession of a controlled substance on September the 9th of 2024. The driver was arrested on a traffic stop, and he was found true-billed by the grand jury. So there was enough evidence presented to support the charges, and he was indicted. Additional notes on the final page that you'll find of your reports is grant status. The grant statuses that we have in progress. The dispatch console, working with the vendor to finalize details of the installation, and the car camera body camera grant. Both of those were awarded. We're just working out the installation details to get those in place. The last one, Flock grant catalytic converter funding. We're waiting on the award letter. It was approved, but we're waiting on the awards letter to get that process going. The City of Meadows Place FEMA recovery team has made all tentative submissions and has been approved by FEMA, awaiting TDM approval. Awards are starting to come in, and water well and other expenditures. Okay. And as far as patrol updates, Officer Sigala continues to advance in completing phase 4, and then we'll start ghost phase of her training program. She's doing well, she's excelling well and catching on, and has become a great fit for our department. We have an officer position open, and we've received 3 applications that we're currently doing backgrounds on at this time. We still have a bailiff position open with no applicants currently. And then MPPD did well during the recent Enzo snow freeze. Several water leaks in the roof of the EOC, but aside from that, all went well. And like Jimmy said, the snow was fun, and it gave us an opportunity to interact with our community and the kids, especially at the park. So we'll take it. And that's it. That's all we have for today.
Thank you so much, Council. Are there any questions for Lieutenant?
Not so much a question as comments for the residents. One of the items in here was one of our residents threw a rock at what they perceived as a speeding vehicle, causing vehicle damage. They have since agreed to pay for that vehicle damage of $3,000. So even if you think the car is speeding, don't throw rocks, don't throw bricks. Let the PD handle it. Even if they are speeding, that's not an appropriate reaction.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you so much, Lieutenant. Moving on to Public Works, Mr. Rod Haney is here to give us his report.
Madam Mayor, Council, good evening. This Public Works report covers the last quarter of 2024, October, November, and December. Goodbye, 2024, no 25. I'll start as usual with the sidewalk repairs and replacement program. We released a $42,000 contract to do sidewalks and some driveway approaches and sidewalks that were associated with it. And this is just about complete already. There's 4 driveway approaches included in this, and this comes out of our sidewalk program because the sidewalk is our responsibility and the approach to the sidewalk is ours also. There will be a 3rd phase of this sidewalk program, will be small, about $20,000. I think that's all I've got left in this budget already. Moving on to the street repairs and road fee. I'm going to give you a lot of information. If there's questions, please ask. I have 2 sheets of street repairs, and I've done already 4 of them. 2 of them were storm sewer inlets, and one was a major intersection, and another was a portion of an intersection. I spent probably 65% of my budget already, and I should only be about 25%, so I'm ahead of the game there. At the time as I wrote this, I did not have prices on the next group of repairs. But going down the list, I have a $29,000, $26,000. The 2 are on hold for reasons that are stated. $41,000 and a $21,000 and a $34,000. So with 5 more repairs to complete this year, that'll more than utilize my entire budget that I have to expend for this year. There's another 9 locations on this page, and on the second page, there's another 21 locations. And I will make a point that saying about 16 of that 21 locations were on last year's list also. They scored lower because they're standing water only. The riding surface is still good. There's no utility involved. And so just as a note, those bottom 16 were on last year's list also. Any questions? So to summarize, I'll do 3 or probably 4 more street panels this year, and we will have expended our entire budget. I do this review on an annual basis, and I always say what I've done so far could potentially take us for the next 2 years. Power Scoop Utilities, expenses for October, November, and December. October, $75,498. November, $34,846. December, $52,233. We are not seeing the same number of water line repairs as we did last year. I think last year, one of those months was like almost $100,000. So we're not seeing the same number of repairs, and so our overall expenses are down in that aspect. I have a long list of other items that are ongoing. Post-Hurricane Beryl, there were 2 items that were found to be deficient. One was at water well number 3, and we sustained some major damage, and I've talked to the contractor, and he believes he has all of the appropriate equipment to start that work. Hopefully that will be done before I report back to you on the next quarter. The second item was water plant number 1 and the fire station, and it's noted at this point in time when I wrote it, the work had not been released, but I have released that also to the same contractor. I need to get that completed. Wastewater treatment plant, we currently have 3 blowers operational, and the 4th has been removed for repair by STP. It's currently incomplete because the lead time on some of this stuff goes from anywhere from 12 to 18 weeks. Number 4, water plant booster number 3. Water plant number 3, booster number 1. TCEQ inspection noted that we had a leak last year. We've since had the booster pump removed, and Pump Solutions has ordered a new unit because we couldn't repair the old one. It was just beyond repair. So this year we'll get 1 booster pump at plant number 3. Item number 5, PSU, as I'd like them to be known now, PSU. How do you like that, guys? Power Scoop Utilities. We installed a new 6-inch meter at the Meadows Senior Village. That meter is probably the largest meter that we have in our system. It was a 1988 model, and I was unable to calibrate it and or repair it, and so we purchased a new one, and Power Scoop put a new one in there for us. I don't know if we had any complaints about increased consumption. Maybe they haven't seen the bill yet. Number 6, the service contract for the small generator at the EMS building was signed with Swanson Services. Number 7 is HydroClear. This is concerning the wastewater treatment plant. We cleaned out 102 cubic yards of debris from the main channel in the wastewater treatment plant. I think you all remember seeing pictures like that. A little bit extra on the wastewater treatment plant. We have spent a considerable amount of money removing solids on this last setup, on this last bypass, and there'll be an item on the next council meeting to address that expense. Number 8, construction masters completed the renovation of the canopy at the entrance of City Hall. That was one of Courtney's favorite programs or favorite projects. She wanted it done. Now she's gone. PSU also installed 2 line valves. One was a 6-inch and one was a 2-inch, I believe. They were broken open. Yes, I finally got it for you. They were broken open, and so what that does when we replace these valves in the system, it helps us isolate a smaller section when we have a water leak. And so we will continue to go through the system, and if we find broken valves, we will get those repaired as long as our budget allows. The last time I reported, Worldwide was given the contracts for the new generators, and they have serviced all the generators that come back, but no problem. Speaking of generators, it's not documented here, but we have a chance of possibly having some grant money for some extra generators. I've requested a quote for water plant number 2 for a new generator, City Hall for a new generator, and actually a new generator for water plant number 1. I'm finding that unit is a lot older than we think it is, way past 20. Let me see. Number 11, we installed new verbatim units. These are units that communicate when one of our water plants has an issue. We had an old dial-up or cellular model, and we've now moved to the Wi-Fi 5G, and they've been installed at each water plant, and we're not having any issues. We will replace the one at the wastewater treatment plant when the lift station is rehabilitated, because we'll have a new control panel, and that's where I want to put that. That is one of our more critical assets at the wastewater treatment plant. The fire department garage doors were serviced early in January. We had a failure. New panels and parts have been ordered. We've since had another failure with the control module on the other door, and I just signed the PA for that this week. The doors at the fire department are giving us a little bit of trouble. We have a service contract, and come out and service them on a quarterly basis. They just seem to be at the end of their life schedule. Number 13, Joe Salviti made 4-point repairs on West Airport. I don't know if anybody noticed. That was we had some 3 or 4 holes that popped up. And West Airport is our responsibility, but I paid for those repairs out of our regular street maintenance budget, not our road use fund. Back to a water plant number 1, bush number 2 has been scheduled for removal and inspection, and that's been done, and I have authorized the replacement of the pumps. The EMS building is an ongoing problem. We have had to sign a contract with ABC Pest Control to come in and exterminate the pests and some possible wild animals from the roof and indicators. We paid them to seal up all the holes that the rats had chewed in the roof, and we've been back. We have a warranty, and the animals had come back, and so we had ABC come back out, and they didn't charge us for it, and they fixed the repairs. We do pay them $116 a month to come out and reset traps and remove any dead animals. Wastewater treatment plant, LEM construction. We're starting to see a little bit of activity back at the plant today. There's been trucks unloading equipment, and so I'm anticipating that they'll be starting to put the bridge back together. That project was 540 consecutive day contract, and it should be scheduled to be completed May 20th of 2025. I'll just make a note that you're all aware of the fact that the wastewater treatment plant is under an administrative order for some alleged violations. I completed the application, which will allow us to address the fine and possibly have it waived if they accept our application and response. Basically, our response was, our plant is under rehab. We're spending $4 million on it, and sent some pictures and the contract for LEM, etc. And that application is under TCEQ review. List number 17, lift station. When I wrote this again, we were waiting on submittals from Turnkey, and there was no activity, but today I've seen some submittals going towards HDR for that project. Number 18, that was on last month's or last quarter's also. I'm going to schedule the ground storage tanks inspections. I'm going to have to take them offline, and we will get an engineering report which will give us a detailed report giving us the condition of the entire ground storage tanks. What comes with that inspection will be a cost, and I will roll them back into the CIP. I haven't proceeded with that just because we were in the process of bidding our project for operations, utility maintenance. The last thing is the irrigation systems. I gave you one copy of what our irrigator sends us on a weekly basis. It's working out quite well. I'm not hearing any complaints anyway. He also did the freeze protection on all the backflow preventers, and I had Joe Salviti do some freeze protection on the bridges and the sanding prior to, and I had some public works people in here taking care of the bridges also. No other issues. Any questions?
Thank you. First, you're getting a lot done, so I appreciate that. One question on the bridges. There's still a decent amount of dirt on there. Is any of that going to be cleared off? And one reason why I ask is I know there's some drain outlets there, and water can stack up. So
I'll get it taken care of. I'll get it taken care of.
Okay, good deal.
And one other thing is we did take 26 Christmas trees to Surfside, and we participated in their dune building.
Thank you. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank you, sir.
Were there any other questions for Mr. Haney?
I just want to say thank you again for the wastewater treatment plant tour. It was quite enlightening again, and it's good to see the progress that was made, particularly with the gates that now allow for you to manage things.
I will be so happy when this project is completed.
We're getting there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, that takes us to our next report, and that is the Fire Department Monthly Report for December 2024. And we have one this month. So there were 42 incidents total. 13 of those were medical assists. So that's the report. Were there any questions about that? All right, and our next report is our city administrator's report, but he is with P&Z right now, so we're going to move past that, which takes us to our next item on the main agenda, and that is public comment. This is the moment for any public commentary about the upcoming agenda items. And for this part of public comments, you're limited to 3 minutes.
Do what?
You're limited to 3 minutes for this part of public comments.
That's fine. Just got a couple. That's it.
Excellent.
It. No problem. Terry Henley, 12203 Austin Drive.
Oh.
Okay. It has to do with newspaper notices, which I talk about quite a bit. There have been 2 bills filed. One by Curry out of Austin, House Bill 1080, and one by Shaheen out of Plano, House Bill 1028. And it's usually April before we go before the committee. But and we've got a senator or two that's more interested, so I've got a TML board meeting end of February. I'll be going up early to meet with some of the offices of Sheehan and Curry, and probably There's also a couple of senators that's interested in the newspaper notice, and I'll be meeting with them as well, because one's Birdwell, and he's from Grady Randall's hometown up by Fort Worth. He is planning on filing a bill, but he's got too much going on, so I'm just trying to get support from all the senators too. So it's looking pretty good. We'll see. But other than that, I just wanted to make you aware, I'll be visiting with some of the offices up there and keep pushing my newspaper notice. That's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Henley. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Did we have anybody open or wanting to come up for public comments? AI. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Henley.
All right. That is a really good idea. I came up to say hi and bye to Courtney. But before that, I want to tell you, Mayor, I've never done that good a job on proclamations. That was outstanding. Very professional.
Thank you, sir.
And it made us look really, really good. Council, I just want to thank y'all. I miss y'all. I miss interacting with you. I miss having those packets of stuff to look through. But Courtney, I wanted to come up and officially put it on the record with my name, Charles Jessup, 11919 Valencia Meadows Place, Texas, and say goodbye. You came in here and did a good job. And for those who don't know, Courtney's going back to her hometown, so it's going to knock about an hour drive off each way, which nobody can blame her for that. But wish you luck. Thank you for accommodating on evenings like tonight, but and in the future, I know you'll be talking with them. But I just wanted to say thanks. It's been a pleasure working with you. The city secretary job encompasses so many things, and Courtney, you have met all those challenges, and I know you'll do Jersey Village a very good job. So, but you've done a good job here. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Did anybody else want to come up for public comment this evening? It's nice, right? I like it. Okay. Just you had to come to the podium. That's the thing. And you have to tell us your name. Those are the procedures. Yes.
Well, good evening. My name is Monica Black. My address is 11811 Montecito Court. This is my first time at a meeting, so I do apologize about any errors. But I've been here a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And I love Meadows Place. It's a great place to live. My stepdaughter persuaded me to move here, and now my son seems to be wanting to move here too.
I love that.
So it's fantastic. However, I do have some questions and some concerns.
Okay.
One is the intersection of Amblewood with West Airport. Turning out of Amblewood onto West Airport, the visibility is quite bad. You have to pull up quite far into the intersection to see the upcoming traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that, I'm Swedish, by the way. I know that in Europe, in such cases, they often have like a convex mirror in the medium so that people can actually see what's coming to make it safer to drive out. Is that something that we can maybe consider or look into? One other observation I've had is that some of the covers on the water spigots of the tree are in very bad shape, are often broken.
Okay.
And I'm concerned that either people or dogs may get injured stepping on these covers that are in very bad shape and hurt themselves.
Are you talking about the sprinkler heads?
No.
Water meter covers. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know how you call them, but I've noticed quite a few that are in pieces. And I walk my dogs. You might have seen them, the 2 Irish Wolfhounds, so.
They are beautiful dogs. Yes.
Hey, so I'm concerned for them.
Okay.
So that's another question I had. Who's in charge of that? Can we have somebody go around and replace those that are broken?
Okay.
One more thing.
Yes.
The water here is very hard. Is there any way with the water treatment plan that we can, is there any solution to that?
Okay.
So
I think some of these we can probably answer pretty quickly, but so I am also a new mayor here.
Okay,
So this is the space to ask these questions.
Okay.
So, because this is your time in front of council,
Okay.
Council
So
can reply.
I'll go ahead and reply to most of those.
This is Rick Stigley. He is a traffic engineer. He's an engineer for the county, just so you know.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the water quality, the hardness of the water. We evaluated doing something about that, Terry, what was it, 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the millions of dollars. And so at the time, the city just basically said, if somebody wants softer water, they're going to have to install their own system. So you can install a water softener at your house to address it.
So in 15 years, technology has evolved a lot. And
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of. Okay. So basically, nothing is going to be done on...
Not at the city level, because in order to do it, we would have to, let's see, even at $1 million, probably 5 to 6 cents on the tax rate for 15 years to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And most people aren't going to want to do that. They would rather just put a system in at their house.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering that.
The site distance at Amblewood and is it
Amblewood and West Airport.
Well, but I mean, there's one to the east of Amblewood as well that's actually worse.
Meadowcrest?
Meadow Valley.
Valley, that's the one.
And those have been that way since West Airport was widened in the mid-90s. It is bare minimum site distance for 35 miles an hour, and that's why the speed limit has never been raised. There's really not much the city can do about that site distance because the walls are where they are. And so other than moving the sound, buying property and moving the sound walls back would be really the only solution. There are a couple other things we could do pavement-wise, but it's going to be $1 million. Mm-hmm. Most agencies in the U.S. will not allow the convex mirrors in the right-of-way. And the reason for that is it's very hard to judge speed in a mirror. And so if you are looking at the mirror and using that as a way to judge whether you can go or not, actually leads to more accidents than it saves. So that is the policy or the standard procedures in the U.S. Mm-hmm. I understand, Europe is different. There's a different liability laws in Europe than there are in the U.S. And in the Houston region, I'm not aware of anybody that would allow the mirrors, but...
Allowed or has even been proposed to mirrors. I mean, that's...
it's proposed.
Yeah.
My job at the county is all these requests come through my office, and we'll get about a dozen of these per year. The county would not allow it.
Okay. So is there any solution to improve sight on those, or short of installing traffic lights, is there any other solution?
Well, it's
possible?
like I said, the solutions are $1 million plus, and it's been that way for 25 years.
Yeah, but traffic has increased tremendously.
I understand.
From 25 years ago to now. I mean, so it's not the same dance recital anymore. This is a little bit
We
more.
actually had more crashes when West Airport was first widened than we do now, because people weren't used to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you recently moved here?
About 2
2 years?
2.5 years ago. But I've been coming to the area since my stepdaughter moved here 10 years ago.
Right.
So
I am one voice on council. If the rest of council wants to review options and or cost proposals, I'm sure there are engineers out there that would love to talk to us.
Okay, I really appreciate you bringing these. The water meter cover, I'm going to get back to you on that one.
Okay.
Because I'll get back to you on that one. Do we have your name for the record?
Monica Black.
Okay. Would you mind if I give you a phone call later this week?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I would love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
I have 6 seconds left. I have one more question.
Okay.
That's in regards to the dog park.
Okay.
Is that going to reopen, or is there a possibility of rebuilding one?
I'll address that. We are going to look in possibly allocating space within the city. That property was not ours. It was owned by the owners of where Vroom used to be. They were not willing to sell it. They were willing to lease it to us. Okay. It was going to cost us somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000 to rehabilitate it. And it was a 1-year lease that could be ended at any point. So it made no sense financially for the city to do anything. Mm-hmm. We are looking at possibly finding, after we can locate, possibly creating a dog park within the city. But that space was not tenable for the city to invest in. And that's part of the reason that property is difficult to use, is they don't want to sell anything in that property. They want to lease. Even the gentleman who was here tonight, that was one of the questions: is did you get a long-term lease at least? Because they're not selling that property. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answers your question. We did look at it pretty thoroughly, and it's something that we are going to look at in our future as far as amenities that we might want to add.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, no, because that would be great for all dog owners, not just me.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I really appreciate it. I know this can be incredibly intimidating, so I want this to be a space where people can come and ask questions. I also see the visibility issues that you see as well. I don't use those intersections because I don't trust myself there. So I get out on Mulholland and West Airport if I'm going to go that route. Otherwise, I use one of the lights just because I'm with you. I don't prefer it.
And that's a comment I get a lot, like, oh, I don't go out that way.
Nope. Yep.
And that's a shame, because something can be done, but it's a question with what is reasonable.
It's cost benefit. We are a very, very small city, so our budget is very, very, very small.
And I do understand that. So.
Yes.
But thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. And this is my first time, but it won't be my last. So
excellent. Wonderful. Glad to hear it. Thank you so much. Don't forget your stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any more people who would like to come up for public comment? Okay. I am going to close public comment, and we're going to move on to mayor and council comments. And we are going to start. I moved some of these. You'll notice I moved some of these to the top so that we could flow a little better this evening. We're going to start with my comments. I have a few comments on the upcoming election. We are open for filing. Filing deadline is February 14th at 5 p.m. As we approach the 2025 local election season, I have a few thoughts that I would like to share with the residents of Meadows Place. This year marks a significant moment because Kelly will be retiring from her role as Alderman 5, leaving her seat fully open for filing. And as of this evening, we have had nobody file for that seat. We also have Alderman 4 position open, but Kurt has refiled to continue serving our community, and we're thrilled to hopefully continue to have you. First and foremost, I would like to express how proud I am that Meadows Place residents consistently show up for elections. Historically, we have outperformed our surrounding cities and the county in citizen participation. This commitment to civic engagement is a testament to the care and dedication of our community. This year, I would like us to shine in a different way. I would love to see our residents approach the City of Meadows Place election season with kindness and respect. It takes courage, vulnerability, time, energy, and a whole lot of heart to serve this city. The people sitting at this dais, each and every one of them, is a servant leader. They consider how each decision made will affect our residents individually and our city as a whole. This is not easy work. As a small city, our elected positions are nonpartisan, as they should be. This is not DC politics. We are here solving problems and making decisions that impact your life intimately. I believe that anyone filing to fill our elected positions is doing so with the best of intentions and a genuine desire to serve. As we embark on the next few months, please be mindful of your duty as a citizen. Reach out to the candidates. Ask them questions, show up to their meet and greets, get to know them. It's a choice to smear their names all over the internet, and it is a choice we don't have to make. Let's choose to create a culture of handling elections with kindness and respect. I would love for the City of Meadows Place to be known not just for the fact that we show up for elections, but how we show up. So those are my thoughts on the upcoming election season. We've got filing open currently, and filing is closed on February 14th at 5 p.m. We are moving on to Fort Bend Mobility Bond Project, number 20211, Bikeway at Meadows Place. Stafford update with Mr. Sagley.
So for the Bikeway project, Centerpoint did finally look at the plans. They provided some comments. The engineer has addressed them, submitted those back to me for review. Hopefully I can get to those this weekend or next week. And so we are one step closer to actually getting that project kicked off. Interestingly, I saw that Houston Parks Board was awarded a project for that same Centerpoint corridor starting at Keegan's Bayou and running north. So I'm going to be reaching out to them to see if they would consider extending that, coming across the Keegan's Bayou and connecting into us. So and that would actually open up quite a large corridor for the bike users. And that is all Harris County, yes. But I don't remember how far north it went, but at that point you could go north quite a ways, or you could get on Keegan's Bayou and go all the way into the medical center if you wanted a very long bike ride. So beyond that, Dorrance is still moving along. Not a whole lot of progress in the last month. Obviously, we had a storm and quite a bit of rain, which hampered any progress. But, Nick left me some notes here. The current completion date is set for June 29th, and they are hoping to beat that. So
they are moving rather quickly.
Yes. And then one more item, I did RSVP for Fort Bend ISD's open house tomorrow. So I will be attending that. If anybody has anything, I'm not aware that we've got any concerns with the school district right now, but I'm just going to go to help continue building and maintaining those relationships.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Turn my own mic off. That takes us to our regular agenda. Is everybody good just moving forward? Are we good? Okay. All right. We're going to go start with item number 1, discussion and consideration of resolution number 2025-01, appointing an interim city secretary. So we spoke earlier, our current city secretary, Courtney Rutherford, gave her notice of resignation, and we are interviewing applicants. We are in the middle of that process. This item is to appoint City Administrator Nick Habe as the interim city secretary until a permanent replacement is appointed.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, David's made the motion. Do I have a second? Kurt's made the second. Is there any discussion? Nope. Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to item number 2, discussion and consideration of resolution number 2025-02, authorizing the mayor to execute an independent contract with Courtney Rutherford to assist city administrator with city secretary duties and tasks that the city is able to hire until the city is able to hire a permanent replacement for the position of city secretary. So our former city secretary, Courtney, City Council has asked her to stay on via contract in order to help assist with the transition until a permanent replacement is required, and potentially after the permanent replacement is required to just help with that transition. So do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
David's made the motion. Do I have a second?
There is just one thing
Yes.
we need to address in the agreement,
Okay.
is an end date.
Okay.
So we can put an end date. It can always be terminated sooner or extended if need be.
If need be.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have a proposed end? Do you have a proposed end date?
I think June 1st. That it can be sooner, but
We can
just
end it
Gets you
sooner.
through the election?
That gets us through election season.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think that's a
Yeah.
great
Good call.
idea.
That works for me.
Okay. Is everybody good with June 1st being the proposed end date, and we can end it sooner? Okay. Fantastic. So David is the motion. Do I have a second? Kurt is the second. Is there any discussion?
The discussion I'd have just this for public is that we've had this in an executive session when we talked about city secretary position and her resignation. So this is to formalize that agreement that we discussed with Courtney. Again, this is continuity. I think if any of you have heard the earlier meeting of all the things that she was recognized for, you'd realize this is an overwhelming amount of responsibility. She was a senior director along with Nick as far as the people that report to everybody in this city, and it's critical that we have this position staffed by somebody who actually knows all the details, from where the keys are to what we do to where the stamp. I mean, there's just so many details. Yeah, I heard the story about the keys today. So just little things like that. So this is really a very important thing that we're doing to make sure that we keep the continuity of this position and all of the legal requirements that she was required to do and still has to do until somebody comes along, she or Nick. And Nick's looking like he wants a new secretary more than anyone.
It is true.
Sorry.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'm still going to tell Nick that we decline this to save money, and it's all on him.
He's going to stress a little bit about this. He'll be sweating. All right, that takes us to agenda item number 3, discussion and consideration regarding the quarterly investment report. So I will ask Anna Maria over to the podium. Cameron is getting our slides up, and she is going to take us through the quarterly investment report.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Okay, I'm going to go through our investment report. First slide shows basically our total funds between city, utility, and EDC. Overall, at the end of the quarter, fourth quarter, we had just over $12 million. 84% was in city, and then wait, what happened? I gotta go back. Come on. Am I back? No. There's my first slide. Okay. Total funds, $12.4 million. Most of it is in the city, 68%. 24% is in utility, and the balance is in EDC with about 7%. This is our fourth quarter for 2024. It's also our first quarter of our current fiscal year. So this is where we stood at the end of December. By investment type, most of it is in tax pool, 84%. There is about 9% in Lone Star, and that's utility funds. And then the rest is in our checking account, independent financial. 6.5%. We keep a bare minimum there just to pay our bills. I want to kind of glance through some of our city funds and the different accounts that we have. You will see the top line is our checking account. At the end of the quarter, we had about $650,000 in that account. Very high amount. Most of that was there to pay our first installment for the Dorrance Phase 2. So we moved about $450,000 into that account for that payment. So that's why that balance is so high. If we look at the bottom, the total funds did increase in that quarter from $7.3 million to $7.2 million to about $8.5 million. The bulk of that increase is due to it's that second bottom line that says the county 2023 mobility bond funds that we received from the county. We received about $1.8 million towards Phase 2 Dorrance, and that's really the reason why we even see the city funds going up during that quarter. The other thing I wanted to note was the interest rate is decreasing. The current interest rate at the end of the quarter is lower than the average of the 3 months. You'll see another chart on that. On the utility, decreasing interest rates also, but you'll see the funds there. In this case, the bottom line number really didn't change significantly. We had about $3 million at the beginning of October and just over $3 million at the end of December. So a little bit less, and that was really due to some extra expenses over in the utility with water treatment plant and the water wells. And I think Rod told you where we spent money last quarter. From the EDC standpoint, the bottom line on EDC, it went up from $775,000 to $886,000, and very few expenditures were made in fourth quarter. We were waiting on the 60-day waiting period before we could actually spend EDC funds, so very little was spent from EDC. And the increase is really due to the 0.25% sales tax that we put into EDC. It's collected. And there's the nice little chart that shows the line going down is showing our interest rate at tax pool is falling, and it's actually matching the Fed rate. So hopefully it has kind of stabilized. We're still about 4.5% right now, so that's good news for us. Overall, we had about $132,000 that was earned in interest across all the funds. A little less than third quarter, but not significantly. So, of course, we have to thank the county for the $1.8 million that went into the bank that last quarter. Want to just look at where we are in terms of our restricted funds and our reserve, both in city and utility. This slide is on the city funds, lists all the items, accounts that are either restricted or are committed for various purposes or pledged. And we've got a bunch of them. The ones highlighted, two that are in the red box, that's $1.6 million. That is the money that the city has pledged towards utility, the clarifier project, as well as the lift station. The ones enclosed in the yellow box are all the court-related funds that we track and have special uses, and that's about $150,000. Overall, for the quarter, we went from $3.7 million being restricted to just over $5 million. Again, the biggest increase was really the monies we received from the county for Phase 2. So we have a lot of money that is restricted. We can't use it except for special purposes. If we look at that in a chart, I like this one. The orange and the blue part of that chart are the city funds, the money we have in the bank at the end of fourth quarter. The orange is that $5 million that's restricted. The $3 million is what is not restricted. But there's a little bit of a red bar at the top, and that says that we are about 1.1 months short of our recommended 7 months of reserve. So we are on the low side at the end of the fourth quarter. Hopefully that's as low as we're ever going to be for the year. We have not yet taken in very much of our property tax revenue at the end of, it was just starting to come in at the end of December, and so this really, this should be kind of the worst case scenario, but we will see. And this is basically this chart is a summation of the monies that we have in the bank less all our restricted funds, and we're short 1.1 months, or about $660,000. If we look at utility, the same sort of scenario, look at restricted and committed. The bottom line is that over the quarter, it went from $2.2 million to $2.3 million being restricted, so pretty constant in my mind. The only difference really is interest earned for the most part, and then the extra monies that were collected for the infrastructure fee fund, which you can see went from, it's right in the middle, $111,000 to $176,000. That's just sitting, waiting, growing for a few more years before we can start to spend it. Similarly, this bar chart, the orange is what's restricted for utility. The blue is what we have available that's not restricted. It's only $719,000. The red is a little bit bigger, and it represents that we are almost 6 months short of our recommended 10 months reserve. But that's been holding pretty steady for the last several quarters. We've been in that 5 to 6 months amount that we've been short. And this is kind of a summary of our monies in the bank, less all our restricted funds. And bottom line is we're almost $1 million short for 6 months. Okay, that concludes the investment portion. Any questions? I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you. I know we got to look at it ahead of time. One of the questions I had, and you may have it, is have you projected out the growth of that utility fund to see at what point we're going to get, I know we're still 6 months, or we get to 5 months or 4 months. I know that infrastructure fund is growing, but it's growing so small that...
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I've not projected out as to when we're going to start reducing that reserve, or the shortage. No, I'm just hoping that Rod doesn't keep spending as much money as he's doing. But,
thank you.
Excellent. Were there any other questions for this quarterly report? We have a budget and finance report coming up next. Okay, I do need a motion for this item.
Move to approve the report.
Okay, so Kurt moves, Rick seconds. Is there any discussion? All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, moving on to agenda item number 4, discussion and consideration regarding the quarterly budget and financial report.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go through the financial portion. It's going to look very similar, a little more detailed than what was in the investment, but this particular slide basically shows the accounts, but it shows you the quarterly deposits, the quarterly withdrawals, and the quarterly interest. And so it's kind of interesting to look at the deposits and withdrawals, and you can see how the money flows within all the accounts. The top line where I've got it circled, there's that 4.1 and a 4 million on the deposits and withdrawals in the Independent City checking account. It's a lot of money, $4 million flowing in and out of the checking account. And again, half of that, almost the $1.8 million, was courtesy of the county and the Dorrance Phase 2 funds that we received. So it went into the checking account, it came out of the checking account and went into that bottom account that says Texas Prime Dorrance Mobility Project, 1.8 million going in there. So we do have its own account where we're tracking how much goes in and how we're spending it. And you'll see that line there, we actually made a payment of $453,000, and that was that first payment on Dorrance Phase 2. The others, the second line underneath the checking, the Texpool City account, that is where our property tax revenue goes into that account, and you can see the quarterly deposits were $626,000. So it's trickling in. The withdrawals, the $923,000, is what's actually we pull back out and put into our checking account to pay for bills. Not much other activity other than interest in the city accounts or the operating. Under utility, kind of similar story. There's not a whole lot of activity there. Other than the only in and out is really on our checking account, at the Independent, the first line, in and out. The out is more than the in. We had $864,000 on withdrawals, about $130,000 more than what we took in, thanks to Rod. Way more expenses. Normally it's pretty balanced. We can look at the ins and outs on our utility. It's very balanced. What we take in from our utility billing usually pays for the expenses that we see. This particular quarter is not the case. And not much on EDC. And this is just kind of the summary overall for all the accounts. The quarterly deposits, we had almost $7.6 million across the board on deposits, and withdrawals was $6.4 million. Again, that's underneath it tells you what the deposits could have been. It was county mobility bond money, the 1.8 big utility payments, sales tax receipts, fines and forfeitures, franchise fees, license and permits, property tax. Our withdrawals, the $6 million for payroll and bills and transfers that we might have made from our checking account to the savings. And so the end of the quarter, we had $12.4 million, which is actually the increase from October. But again, it's all related to that county money. I'm going to move on to our budget, and this is going to be really quick. We are currently, at the end of December, we were 25% of the way through our fiscal year. So the next couple of slides are just a graph of how things looked for each of for the revenue and expenditures. This first chart is city revenues, and the red line across the board is the 25% mark. All our revenue sources are running right around 25%. We had a couple that were a little on the higher side, and that was interest and, surprisingly, permits was above 25%. So right now everything looks pretty good. On the revenue, On the expenditures, this chart kind of looks at each of the departments, and again, the red line is that 25% mark. We want to be under the 25% mark for expenditures. You can see that there's a couple of departments, council and police, and parks on their operations is just kind of above the 25% mark, above that red line. They all had good explanations. Mostly it's annual payments that were made in October. One-time payments, so kind of we see that increase in the first quarter. And council, the reason council's high is because there was a TML conference that kind of were some bigger expenditures by council. Things will line out in the next quarter. This is just, well, I'm not going to, no barrel. Utility revenue. We want to be above that red line, and you can see everything looks to, on the utility side, is actually running a little bit above the 25%, so that's good news on the utility. Interest, I guess we under budgeted on the interest for utility, but on the other hand, most of that interest being earned is the ARPA funding monies that we're holding, so it's not like we really want to spend it on city stuff. It's really geared for the ARPA, the clarifier project. So good news. It just helps us reduce our share of the cost. It's expenditure on utility. Again, we would like to be under the red line for expenditures. It is not the case on everything. We are above 25% on both water operations and sewer operations, the water treatment plant expenditures, and I think Rod told you things that have been spent this last quarter. And that's about just a takeaway. Barrel event, yes, we've been obligated by FEMA towards all our expenditures that we've submitted. If we get everything back, we should be about $75,000 that we'll be getting from FEMA. We've already been reimbursed $11,000, so we're waiting on the other $64,000. I'm sure that TDM will come back with asking for additional details before they give us that money. Revenue's looking good across the board. Expenditures, I think, are really pretty good at this point for ending the first quarter. We'll be able to have a better handle on our expenditures after second quarter or first quarter 2025. That's my report. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Anna Maria for the budget and financial report?
Move that we approve the report.
Excellent. Motion from David. Second from Kelly. Is there any discussion? Yes, that is a lot of work, and we really appreciate it. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. We're moving on to agenda item number 5, discussion and consideration regarding resolution number 2025-03, appointing Tiffany Polk as court administrator. Our current deputy court clerk is Tiffany Polk. I don't know how much residents interact with her very much, but she's a court clerk level 1, certified, working towards her level 2. Since being hired in 2022, she has excelled in court. She's proven herself to be dependable, takes on tasks with completion to better improve our court processes, and works diligently with determination. Appointing her as court administrator, but leaving her under the supervision of the city secretary will help relieve some of the city secretary some of the duties of the city secretary office. I'm sure you heard earlier, city secretary wears a whole lot of hats, and in anticipation of hiring a new city secretary, this was a move we could make to kind of relieve some of the duties of the new hire. So, do I have a motion to approve? Is there any discussion? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to agenda item number 6, discussion and consideration of ordinance number 2025-01, amending the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, increasing line item 100,030,510,100 municipal court salaries, $10,000 for the court administrator position. Being appointed the court administrator for the Meadows Place Municipal Court, this is an increase in her responsibilities, so we are increasing her salary as well. Is there any? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
David, do I have a second? Kurt and Rick tied for that one, so whoever you want to put down. And then, is there any discussion about this? Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to agenda item number 7, discussion and consideration regarding ordinance number 2025-02, ordering a general election to be held on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, for the purpose of electing city officials of the City of Meadows Place to Alderman Place 4 and Alderman Place 5, providing for early voting and providing for notice of said election, authorizing the mayor and or the city secretary to enter into a joint election agreement with Fort Bend County to conduct the general municipal election on behalf of the City of Meadows Place. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? David seconds. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, discussion and consideration accepting the staff's recommendation for operations, maintenance, and management of the city's municipal water, wastewater collection system, and wastewater treatment plant. Would you like to share more about what this is about, Nick?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
It's agenda 8.
It is.
Yep.
So we did go ahead and have a bid opening on January 15th. As you know, you authorized the bid opening at your last meeting.
Yes.
We had 2 bidders, a company called PowerScoop Utility and also Clearstream Environmental. PowerScoop's base bid was $15,500 with their labor rates listed plus 10% markup. Clearstream's monthly base bid was $20,500 with labor rates listed plus 20% markup. We did have an evaluation committee made up of me, Rod Haney, and Anna Maria Weston. We did go ahead and grade each proposal against the listed criteria that was in the package. That evaluation is in your backup, and so as a result of the evaluation, PowerScoop did come out ahead. And so what staff's asking is for council to basically vote to accept the recommendation for the utility bid operator so that we can enter into discussions with them about a contract that we can then put in front of you for a February city council meeting.
I'll make a motion. We approve the recommendation.
I have a motion. Kurt is seconding. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to say thank you to Rod and Nick. The package that he talked about was extensive. The amount of preparation to put this out for bid, which is a requirement for law on a contract this size, and just the amount of work it took to get all this done. I just want to say thank you for your efforts on that. This came back in a very favorable way to the city.
PowerScoop is here tonight. Just wanted to let you know. They've been your emergency operator for a while now and have done a fine job. And so I think your Public Works Director feels pretty good about this direction.
As does your mayor. So thank you. I see your trucks all the time, and I very much sincerely appreciate your work. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to agenda item number 9. Accept the report from Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a specific use application from Corey Corbin or Collision Motor Specialist per Meadows Place Code of Ordinances, Chapter 153, Section 15395, B2C4, allowing for auto body shop on the property located at 12002 Southwest Freeway, Meadows Place, Texas, 77477. And I have Sean Ulrey here at the podium.
Well, look at that. There you go. All right. Sean Ulrey, 12038 Scottsdale, Planning and Zoning. So this wasn't easy. We sat down first, had a discussion. We spoke with legal, we spoke with fire marshal. Lots of questions, lots of definite opinions that kind of form from those. You could tell direction people take sometimes by the questions asked, and you'd start to see things kind of move one direction and then another. I made a motion to accept, was not accepted or seconded first. Then we went to another motion to deny, and it ended up being a split vote. Tiebreaker, I opposed it, so we went back. And the final motion was to accept into the location based on erecting a full perimeter privacy fence on the 1 acre lot as ways of obstructing view of damaged vehicles or problems there. Now, with that, there's concerns because we can't mandate material, so now what kind of fence is it? And then what kind of disrepair that we see as disrepair that is not actual disrepair that we may have to live with. It ended up in that vote, we had 3 approve, 2 oppose, 1 abstain, so it passed. And I'm telling you this because normally I would get up and just share that it passed based on whatever, but this is the most split I've seen this group as a whole. Never had somebody abstain before, and I understand why. It wasn't that they wanted to not be part of the process, but they genuinely waver back and forth, as do I. I think there's a lot of very positive merits to having the auto collision in that location. There's a lot of good benefits that come from it. Having a business in it attracts other businesses, but at the same time, does this business prevent other businesses that we would definitely want in that location? Is this one that is going to be what we want long term? So I think that in terms of viewing us as the community sharing with you what we want, it's hard. It did pass, so we ultimately accepted them into that spot. But I don't know that we have a definitive answer like we've had on other things where it was unanimous. And it wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't a one vote. It was a process. And it was a discussion, and it was another discussion. And it's going to be a hard decision. It's a hard decision for you. And I'm sorry for that. I can't give you a definitive, this is what we feel like. We do have a couple of our members still here if you want to ask them questions, because I think it's a representation from both sides of that fence. I think there's a lot of merit to hearing what they have to say if you have time or you have interest. I would encourage you to do so, to give them an opportunity to express theirs, because I think that they'll give you another good view of what the process was for us and the decision we had to make, or ultimately we kind of got split on. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, this is the time for questions.
I would say if we're going to hear from the other members, we would do that before we would accept the report.
Okay.
If that's allowed, I think it would be great to hear from both sides.
Yep. I would encourage it. I mean, I definitely think that it would add value to the decision you're going to have to make to truly hear what the discussion was in there, because there was no definitive. Even the ones who accepted or denied it, both kind of fell closer to the middle and just had to choose a side. And I don't know that some of them were as far apart, even though they had opposing votes.
Okay. All right. Would you guys like to come to the podium?
Anne Green, 12303 Hogart. I opposed. Mm-hmm. My husband and I drove to the site that is currently being occupied today. The fence that potentially could be erected right here in Meadows Place was chain link, with some pieces of plastic falling down. Whether a Lexus or a 20-year-old Toyota Tundra is in repair at this shop, it makes no difference. You have a broken down vehicle that is being repaired. It looks horrendous. I feel that I made my decision both economic, because I think it would lower the property values in Meadows Place, and aesthetic for the neighbors, any of us driving down Dorrance and looking at this. Since we can't actually ask that the materials be of the fence, if it's erected, be such that it's attractive, I feel that this is a detriment to our city and to our neighbors that have to live with it. Kelly and I are lucky enough to be on the other side of Kirkwood, and we don't have to deal with it. I'm looking at our neighbors that are on this side of Kirkwood that will. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would you like to come up?
Sammy Skimp, 12114 Dorrance. How's everyone doing tonight? I was for it. I know there's a lot of opposition, but I think he has good intentions. Okay. Once before, there's been, an auto repair, auto body in that area. The technology's a lot different than what it was with what's in there. Also, we already have body shops not that far from the location. I was like, how it was presented at first, not being able to, I had made the suggestion, hey, if we put a fence up, I would be willing to, I think they'd be a good fit with a couple of tweaks, right? I don't live on that street, but I drive down Dorrance every day to leave for work, and I pass it. So we all live here. You might not live next door to it, but we all traverse through this city. My other thought is, the building's been vacant for a while. If we don't have things banging on the door to come in there, and it's also not like he's going to leave cars right at the door, at the main building. It's been discussed that he's going to be across the street and then bring them over as needed. So I think it'll be a good fit. I don't think it's going to be an eyesore, but that's just my opinion. I know everyone's heated, but that's any questions of me? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Do I need a motion to accept this?
I will move to approve, or move to accept,
Okay. Kelly seconds. Sorry, Kelly and Kurt really tied for that one. Okay. All right, is there any discussion? We have another agenda item to discuss this as well. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 10, discussion and consideration of ordinance number 2025-03 regarding a specific use permit application from Corey Corbin of Collision Motor Specialist per Meadows Place Code of Ordinances, Chapter 153, Section 153.95B2C4, allowing for auto body shop on the property located on 12002 Southwest Freeway, Meadows Place, Texas, 77477.
I will move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Are y'all wanting to amend the ordinance for the fence requirement per P&Z?
I wish the chief were here. I think last time I asked a question of the chief on whether that would cause more of a concern than not having a fence because they wouldn't be able to see activity back there. I don't think the chief gave us a definitive answer, though. And so I'd really like to talk to the chief about that. So maybe, I guess from the attorney's point of view, what would be the best option? Put it in there as requiring the fence, and then during the design review, if it is determined that would be a potential detriment, we could come back and amend the approval? Because we can always come back and remove requirements. We can't come back and add requirements, right?
That's correct. So yeah, I think that would be the better way to go about it, is to include the requirement now, because again, when you're reviewing for permitting and CO and all of that, they're going to be looking to this document to determine what rules apply. So, but yeah, we can come back and amend the special use permit if you want to remove it after you speak with the chief.
Okay. So yes, Courtney, approve with the fence, and then as we get through the design, if that becomes an issue, we can always remove it.
I'll mention the same thing I mentioned to P&Z back there. Staff loves specificity, and so when we write in the ordinance fence requirements, we need to know where and how high and that kind of thing. There was a lot of discussion back in the room about building materials, and you might remember that in 2019 the legislature removed our ability to select building materials. That would also include fencing. And
even though it's an SUP, we still can't. Oh,
yeah.
So,
it's unfortunate.
From my understanding from P&Z, this was to create a visual barrier so you would not see the wrecked vehicles. It is not a issue of protecting the vehicles. The owner wants to add something. Go ahead into the podium for us.
Hi, everyone, again. I'm going to use an example just to show you guys kind of what's required by Tesla with the wrecked vehicles. You have a wrought iron fence.
I was going to say that'd be similar to what we've got at the tennis courts. So the reference was Tesla requires a kind of screen similar to the back of the chair. You can see through it, but it's not a clear view. And I was going to say we've got something similar at tennis courts or the baseball fields or something where it kind of screens, but you could see people moving behind it, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to see who that was.
Correct.
You'll have to speak at the microphone. So sorry. Thank you.
Correct. And then I didn't hear, but I wanted to make sure that we did have it on there to be able to take off that 5-year rule that I was told. Otherwise, I got to back out. Okay.
It's section.
We discussed it last time.
Yes. Section 6A, 5 years from the date of this ordinance, unless an application for extension has been submitted to City Council, I guess it terminates. Yes, it terminates 5 years if it's not resubmitted for application.
This is a question for either the lawyer or for maybe somebody else who knows. Can we tie this to the renewal or the length of the lease versus a particular date?
Nick, I'm going to have to look at your code to see what the code requires.
I don't think the 5 years was by code, was it?
No, I think that was a boilerplate that came through. That's not, I don't know of anything in the code book.
What is the length of your lease?
The lease is 10 years with an extension, the option to renew. And quite honestly, I'm not going to risk my family's livelihood on this if I could only get 5 years and had the potential to be denied.
So, council, for me, if we approve this, I'm good with it as long as it's the same business and business owner. Would anybody object to me tying it to him? But if he sells the business, the new owner would have to come in and reapply?
So it also states in there, 6B says it would terminate if there's substantial damage, or C, sell of the location. So I guess we could add if there's a new lease.
The problem with that is he doesn't own the location. He's leasing it. And that was a problem we talked about last time, because if the owner sells, that lease goes to the new owner, but we don't want to force him to come back for the SUP because the owner sold the building.
Yeah, we would need to modify that.
I mean, you know, you never know what kind of special circumstances might happen. You know, I lost my brother-in-law at 31 years of age to cancer. He had to quit his job. They had to sell their little business that they had. Things happen, life happens, and I would really not want to have a restriction like that. If I sell, the new owner would have to apply. It's already been established. It would have already been approved.
So I think, Council, we're looking at Section 6 to see how you guys would want to modify that section, both A, B, and C.
So who sees the need for a time restriction?
I don't. What I see is to have it tied to the lease, so if the lease doesn't renew, whether or not it's sold to someone else or not, if the lease stops, the SUP stops with it.
Well, the SUP is tied to the applicant anyway.
Okay.
And so if the applicant goes away, the SUP dissolves. It's no different than what happened with Vroom. When Vroom left, that SUP dissolved. So if they go away, it goes back to the underlying.
So we don't need a time limit in there.
If the applicant goes away, the SUP goes away.
So so as long as the business was sold, then it would stay intact. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's a legal question.
Well, TDA sold to Vroom. They had to operate under the SUP.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, the way this is drafted is this special use permit is granted only to the applicant if you look at Section 4, and it is not assignable. So if you were to sell your business to somebody else, the SUP would still go away.
They would have to reapply.
Correct.
Okay. Is that what happened with Vroom and Texas Direct? They had to reapply?
I don't remember if that one was assignable or not, or I do know that they came to council and we approved TDA taking over that SUP in a form, because that's one of the ways we got the additional sales tax and things like, or not sales tax, but payments from them that they hadn't been making.
We had, I think, 2 amendments to that agreement.
Correct.
So how could we incorporate something like that to where if I had to sell a business, you know, I could? I mean, it's kind of, I don't like to plan for failure, but you have to take it into consideration. Like, things happen, health issues happen. You know, if my family was forced to sell our business to somebody who would continue to do the same things and uphold the same qualities that we hold, you know, I don't
Could
plan.
we change this to close of the business instead of sale of the business?
Yeah.
So if you closed it, nobody bought it, it'd be done. Or if whoever buys it from you closes it.
Well, but we still have to address Section 4.
Right.
We would have to basically delete Section 4 and...
I would suggest for that assignment provision requiring approval by City Council.
Okay, so
not just allowing assignment unilaterally.
Okay, this has just got a whole lot more complicated.
I mean,
So on section 4, we're saying the special use permit is granted only to the applicant and can be assigned only upon approval by the city. You would say city instead of city council, right?
Yes.
And then section 6 becomes
A goes away for sure if that's the.
well, and I'm not worried about substantial damage of the location. If they want to reopen and rebuild, they can.
I mean, if you guys were to go there right now, the place is decaying. I have to spend a lot of money, even on my part, and I can guarantee you that Sam is not helping me on that.
So I'm thinking section 6 expiration. The SUP will expire if the business is closed for, how long do we want to give them to be closed? If, let's say, they've got damage and they need to rebuild, 6 months or less than that?
So I'd say closed continuously for a period of more than 6 months.
Yes, consecutive months, yeah.
Okay. All right, is there anything else? Oh, going back to the fence. Fencing will be to create a visual screen.
No less than
6 feet high.
Do you want to reiterate the
I'd
recommendation?
go with 8.
Do you want to reiterate the recommendation of P&Z on the fence? Because y'all were real specific.
Fire marshal indicates he's got something to add.
And I was going to add, I don't think the fence that's there currently is even that tall, and I would only be doing a section of it because that's all that I'm allowed. There's a different owner for the other section. So I don't think I'm going to be allowed to change that fence, and it wouldn't be uniform with the other ones because I don't know how tall it is, but let's just say everyone is 5 feet, and then you had like a 7-foot fence. It just wouldn't make sense in there.
Good evening, Joe Murray, Safe Built. I'm your contracted fire marshal. Fences are addressed in the building code based upon heights. So if you're going at a 6 foot, then according to the code, you're not required for the permitting. They would just install the fence. Anything higher than that would dictate a permit, then the city would have to review. We would just determine the fence is there and that it meets the conditions under the fire code for fire department access.
So you're not really, as long as it's less than 6 feet, you don't have concerns. The existing, does anybody have any idea what the existing one is? 5 foot? Well, but if it's not 6, are we going to require him to install a new fence? Truthfully, to me, even a 5-foot fence is going to create your visual obstruction. You might see the top of a pickup, but that's about it.
And you're down on the road. The fence starts a foot higher than you, so yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. I don't believe you would. Yeah, add screening, 6 feet of screening to the existing fence.
Now might be a good time to open up the building material section in terms of how screening could be accomplished, right? Well, right now you've got basically wrought iron out there right now. And so could we write into the SUP what needs to be on that in order to make it more opaque?
So again, we can't specify building materials. We can suggest that it be a privacy fence. And we've heard the owner describe it as a privacy fence in this meeting already by putting the screening on as required by Tesla. So it sounds like there might be some agreement there already.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize to council that the fence as it exists today could perhaps be characterized as a privacy fence. Could it not? Okay, I want to emphasize that.
But it sounds like Tesla's going to require you to install the screening anyway, right? And so I think a screen like we're talking about, the back of the chair or what we've got at the tennis courts, to me is adequate. Is the rest of council thinking we want like a solid picket fence?
That's what I was thinking, concrete or picket, but the problem is that we can't make that stipulation. I'd ask, and that there is a particular.
Well, and I think the PD would have less of a concern with the screen that they can see somebody moving behind than they would with a solid wood fence. All right, is there?
Yes, we're in the discussion portion of this.
I have a question. All I heard about, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, from everybody was they don't want to see it. So is the main thing visual?
Yeah.
So, but it's, yeah.
In the storage area only, that's what we're talking about.
Would yours cover the whole thing?
I would like to show you drawings.
Sure.
And my question is if it's just visual, and I've been in the same discussions that Rick's talking about with the chief, and I've come out of some of those very uncomfortable as chief has dressed me down saying, hey, you're locking my hands on this stuff. How can we see anything or protect the city if they can run around back there and do whatever they want and we can't get to them or see them? So I'm hesitant to put up something other than that. I guarantee you, any one of these officers can walk up to that and go, and get in. So I just wanted to clarify, that's what we're looking at is a visual.
I'll need Mr. Ramirez to come to the microphone. Thank you.
So, as City Council could see, this is.
There you go. Good. Yeah.
Thank you. As City Council can see. Yeah, sure, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. This is the building we look at putting in, right? This is a portion of it. It's less than 10% of the total building. It's right next to the body shop of Ford. Mm-hmm. Across the street on Durham or Dorrance Lane is where we propose to have the parking. This is all fenced off already, everywhere. You had the dog park over here. Now, there's one entrance for me. I plan on in here putting a chain link fence because it's inside of a perimeter already that is already covered by a fence in all ways. And then in my section, so you would not see the vehicles, putting the privacy fence to block this.
Just on the front, not on the sides?
What you have to realize is, I don't own this. I cannot occupy this.
Correct, but if you're putting up a 6-foot chain link fence, are you saying you would put it on the chain link fence as well?
Inside here?
Yes.
I honestly don't see the point if whatever.
That's not the question.
No, I didn't plan on it. I can if that's a requirement, but honestly, Tesla only requires me to put it on the front. As long as you can't see in there, you're not gonna. If you drive down this street, you know that this is a very high slope to go over. You don't see into here. My car bottoms out getting into this parking lot. It is very low. You will not see this inside of here. And I don't know what's going to be put in here, but something's probably going to block it because right now it's just an empty parking lot. You know, and they've had cars there forever and nothing was said. And just even having the chain link fence, that's going to provide privacy already. So you'll have
block though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the street view just to remind myself, there's a ton of oak trees in the front. So that's going to help block it. There are some shrubs. Again, I don't know if those are going to all remain, but right now, currently, there are oak trees that are going to block a significant amount of line of sight there.
Now, my biggest concern and where I kind of walk on this is being able to sell this later if need be, because this is my family's, this is everything. And I'm giving up my property that I own right now, which I could sell, I could rent with no issues. And this was nothing, none of this was ever asked of me from Pearland, which was very tough as well. I mean, this is probably one of the most toughest things for me to do, and come out here and speak in front of everybody and plead my case. But in all honesty, if you guys do accept us, it is a deal breaker if they have to go through everything that I've already gone through to just get the same exact business accepted. I would rather not risk my family's future on this. Thank you. So my request is to have that provision removed, if that is a possibility, which I thought that's what, when we reapplied, I thought that's what was there.
All right, so I think we've come down to a visual screen on the fence.
Can we say that? Yes. Okay, great. Legal says yes.
Okay.
Can I just clarify for myself where we're at on amending the ordinance? So we're saying section 4, we're going to change it to say special use permit is granted only to the applicant and may only be assignable by approval of city council?
By the city.
By the city. And then section 6, we're removing item A, which is the 5-year requirement. We're keeping B, which is substantial damage.
No, we're getting rid of B as well.
We're removing B as well.
And
so then the only thing in item 6 would be if the business is closed for consecutively 6 months or more.
Correct.
That's all we're leaving in 6.
So closed continuously for 6 months or more. Okay.
Yes.
So clarifying question, it addresses Mr. Mayor's concern. The approval from City Council, does that require a new SUP application, or is that a matter of approving as we would most other ordinances?
I believe it would come straight back to City Council, not have to go through P&Z again.
Correct.
Okay. So
basically, so it would just be approval of the assignment.
Correct. It would not. You would not be a reapplication of all the processes. So if that puts you at, I don't know what we need to put in there, but that the way that it's worded, that the city approval, it doesn't require that a SUP be applied for and all the processes going. You basically, they would have to come and say, here's what I'm going to do to ensure that the business continues in a proper manner. We'd probably want to hear from that owner.
And we're also adding the requirement for a privacy fence.
A visual screening on the privacy fence.
Across the front. Across the front.
Yes.
Unless you want something more than that. I mean, that's... But that's the way staff would want to clarify is it across the front? Is it along the sides as well? We need to know.
If we did the sides, it'd be maybe like the first 50 feet of the sides. Just, I don't even know if that's necessary, so I'm willing to...
Well, remember, you've already got the privacy fence that's breaking up that view, too.
It's not a privacy, well, on the sides, it's just the...
No, but you've got the wrought iron fence that runs along Dorrance, and because you're coming at an angle, it creates kind of a wall as you're driving.
I hope so. Hope the trees and the shrubs help, too. I mean, if you want to add an extra little bit, I'd be very happy, but
So, because I've walked this property hundreds of times, I've spent a lot of time. If you're coming from, if we left this office right now and you're going down that street, there's a retention pond that has shrubs and trees that blocks the whole left side completely right now. Coming from the other side, you're actually in on an angle. So all the oak trees and everything that you see, plus a chain, could you imagine a chain link fence in there? And I could maybe get a black fence or something that helps it obscure the, you know. I have to, what you have to realize, there's two separate owners. I'm not able to do everything. Otherwise, you'd ask me to make the whole portion of the front fence privacy. Sam doesn't own it all. How could we force them to do that? But at least going through one side of it, I know I can put a chain link fence. And the chain link fence, when you see it on the side, or even that wrought iron fence right now, I can't see through it. It's really going to block it. I'm not really worried about that portion of it. You know, so I know. Based off all the years that I've done this, trust me, if you drive through there, you see it. Yeah. Thank you.
We have the motion in a second.
So we also need to strike 7C.
7C. That's on the next page.
Because we just put in 6 months, and this would terminate his SUP after 60 days.
If they go away for 60 days.
Well, if we change that to 6 months, then Section 6 really doesn't have anything under it, and then 6 would go away.
Yeah, that's right.
So we could do it either way.
So we could strike all of 6 and adjust
change 7C.
I would not strike all of 6. You're still going to need the first sentence in 6.
Okay.
So keep the first sentence of 6, remove the second sentence, and A, B, and C. And then on 7C,
change that to 6 months.
Change that to 6 months, yeah.
And do we want to, so abandoned, because we've got abandoned or ceases to operate. Abandoned is going to be different. Would we want to do abandon a shorter time? So if they just walked up and left, it would be shorter than 6 months, but if it ceases to operate, keep that at 6 months? I know we're in the weeds.
Well, if they abandon and remove everything, it just sits there. It's not operational. It doesn't hurt us.
Okay. I'm good with 6 months there.
So is everybody satisfied with the motion as we currently have it? Does anybody?
I just need to clarify. On 6, we're just keeping the first sentence and removing everything else?
Yes.
And we're changing 7C to 6 months?
Correct. And where did you add the screening to the privacy fence?
Do you have all that, Heather? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to add a new section to specifically call out the privacy fence requirement.
I think Heather's going to add the fencing requirement, correct?
I couldn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
Could it go under section 3B, become a 3B?
So under section 3B, and what is the question?
Add screening to the privacy fence along dorms.
Okay, you want me to add that for you guys? Yeah, I can do that.
He's saying adding a new or creating a new 3B might be a good place to do that. That way we're not adding a whole new section.
Because 3A talks about they need to operate in accordance with Code of Ordinances and meet the site plan in Exhibit A. And so to me, adding the fence under 3B would be an appropriate place.
Okay.
And is that something code enforcement can enforce? Say the screening falls off or is damaged, code enforcement can say, hey, you need to fix this up? Okay.
Or it could invalidate the SUP.
Correct.
So we've got some legs to stand on if it's...
Sure.
Okay, good.
If they fail to maintain.
Jimmy, I just want to address something you said about Pearland. Part of the reason that this is a little more difficult, and I know we're kind of working on this a lot, is that this is the entrance to our city for some people, and that is probably the main concern I heard was the aesthetics. You've addressed, to my satisfaction, almost every other issue that came up as far as noise, pollution, sound, distance, all of those things. I think this was the kind of the last concern, big concern, was the way it makes the city look as you come in. So that's one of the reasons. It's not your business or anything else. It's just this is important to our citizens and important to our council. So thank you.
I appreciate that, Mr. Ramirez, and I hope that you, no matter how this turns out tonight, I hope that you walk away hearing that we really, really love this place and want to be good stewards of it. Yeah. Well, we appreciate that. Nick has a few comments before we move forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one comment, and I mentioned this to P&Z, so I want to mention this out here as well. The vote tonight is, the SUP vote is really a question of use. I think I've spoken with some of you individually about this. It's really a question of use, and so that's step one. Step two of this is going to be an actual building permit process, which is completely different. And so I have the fire marshal here, asked him to come just to be a reference from a building code perspective. Because if and when they were to submit for a building permit application, that's when we start looking at building code and fire code related issues. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you right now the condition of the structure. I can't tell you now what would need to be improved in order for them to actually get that certificate of occupancy. So I just want to put that on the record and let you know this is a use question, not necessarily a building code or what needs to be invested question in order for them to actually get that CO.
And this may be an unfair question to our fire marshal.
He's over here by camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knowing that the building has two owners, even though it's attached, we're only going to be looking at the space that they are leasing, correct?
Yes, that is correct. However, it depends upon how any existing fire protection is within the building and how that is actually serves the building based upon fire protection. So I can let council know that I do have a scheduled site visit on Tuesday at 10 o'clock at that facility.
Yeah, I just, because these two owners don't play nice together, I didn't want something in the old Garden Ridge property to affect them so that they were being held hostage by the other owner.
Well, I currently can speak about only one particular occupancy that has applied and has started the permit process, and that is a gym, and we've already reviewed those plans and submitted those back for comments, so they were disapproved at this time, and that's what generated the request for the site visit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's currently all I'm aware of. I can only directly speak to based upon what plans have been submitted to us. Other than that, it's just conversations based upon potentially what they could be doing with the particular area that they want.
All right, thank you.
You'll need to come to the microphone so that people can see. Yes.
So this is addressed to Fire Marshal. You want me? Oh, you know, here this is easy. So currently, our booths right now are downdraft heated with a fire suppression system installed inside the booths, inside the mixing rooms to fire code per City of Houston, per Texas Air Quality, all that. Would that apply to you as well here, being that they're already, you know, it's permitted, it's inside fire containment? On top of that, I know that the building has an active sprinkler system as an added thing.
So once again, based upon the fact that I have not received any plans to be able to review, I can only talk about what could be required based upon that. So paint booths do require fixed suppression systems. They require ventilation systems that are captured under the fire code, mechanical code, and building code. So until I actually see a set of plans for this suite that's going to cover what you're going to have with equipment and other types of systems within, I can only speak in general terms. If the building does have its own sprinkler system for the full building, I don't know that until I actually go out on site. If it does, then at that point you're going to have it designed for what you're doing within. So if you're changing any type of walls, adding areas, adding other types of equipment, that's going to make changes to the existing systems that are there. So until I go and get a site visit of the full building and then you submit plans, it's just me basically saying code does require if you're doing that, but until I see the plans, I can't tell you specifically if that particular system you mentioned meets the code or not.
Okay.
I guess the other thing is me moving into this building, because of the age of the building, would I be required to meet current day codes on every single thing?
Yeah, it's been vacant long enough to where it would trigger an upgrade to current set of code requirements.
Okay, because
within your suite.
Right, within your suite.
I know. It's going through my head that that's potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars if y'all have walked that building.
Well, let us get through this process first.
Okay.
Yep, let's do this
But
first.
I mean, that is a due diligence item you are going to need to look at, and that is one of the reasons that a lot of people have walked away from this building.
Well, I know that if y'all approve, according to my thing with Sam, if I am approved and I go through this and it ends up costing me way too much, I'm still on the hook with him legally. So I'm a little worried. I don't think he's that type of guy, but it concerns me.
That is a separate issue.
And
We
that's
are
on
here
me.
to,
Yeah, I understand.
to approve or disapprove the special use permit. That is what we're here to do this evening.
I'm still all on board if you guys are.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second? Are we through discussing the motion and a second? Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. That was a unanimous vote. Okay. All those opposed? Motion carries. You are approved. Moving on to agenda item. Thank you so much, Fire Marshal, for being here. Really appreciate it. All right. Moving on to agenda item number 11, discussion and consideration of resolution number 2025-04, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement addendum with Texas Lawn Works for additional mowing of the trail area between Dorrance Lane and Montecito Lane. The Parks Maintenance contract has been amended to include the trail area between Dorrance and Montecito. This area was previously handled by Public Works. The amendment will consolidate the maintenance of all open areas in Meadows Place.
I'll make the motion.
David has a motion. Do we have a second? Kurt seconds. Is there any discussion? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 12, discussion and consideration of ordinance number 2025-04, amending the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, increasing line item 100060565 mowing and landscaping $3,800 for additional mowing. Do I have a motion? Kurt,
Second.
David seconds. Is there any discussion about this item? Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. We're moving on to consent agenda. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Without objection, this meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you.